Welcome, one and all, to another thrilling episode of F1 Motor Fever Podcast. And today we're hitting the tracks with the one and only Pastor Maldonado and his wild ride in the world of Formula One.
Pastor Maldonado, quite the character indeed. Infamous for his aggressive driving, yet unforgettable for that stunning victory in 2012.
Absolutely, my friend. Born and bred in Venezuela with racing in his blood, Maldonado started his journey with a simple go-kart and a dream.
A dream that took him from BMX bikes to the challenging circuits of Formula Renault and eventually to the intense realm of Formula One.
Although he had a rocky start with Williams in 2011, he stunned the crowd just a year later at the Spanish Grand Prix. Not only did he secure pole position, he went on to beat the likes of Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen.
A crowning glory for Williams indeed. But let's not forget the turbulence that followed with technical issues, missed opportunities, and harsh criticism.
The life of a racing driver, eh? Full of ups and downs. Maldonado tried to change tracks with Lotus in 2014, hoping for a breath of fresh air, but I reckon it was more of a whirlwind.
Indeed, the financial woes and the underperforming car made it a tumultuous ride. But true to his spirit, Maldonado held on, never backing down.
Even after hanging up his Formula One helmet, he continued his love for racing, achieving success in the World Endurance Championship. Now that's what I call dedication.
A testament to his unwavering passion for the sport. Maldonado's career in Formula One is more than just a driver's tale. It's a thrilling saga of victories, disappointments, and a relentless pursuit for glory.
And that, ladies and gents, is the legacy of Pastor Maldonado. It's not just a part of Formula One history, it's a chapter in the grand narrative of motorsport itself. Good morning, folks, and welcome to this special episode of F1 Motor Fever Podcast. I'm your host for today, George, swerving in for our usual speedster, Enzo Watts. I've got the legendary commentator, William, by my side. Say hello, William.
Hello, listeners. It's a pleasure to be here on this special Thursday episode.
That's right. Every Thursday morning, we take you on a detour from our daily episodes to delve into some really iconic, epic, and timeless subjects. So buckle up because we have a thrilling ride ahead.
Absolutely. And today's ride is going to be a fascinating one.
You bet. But before we vroom ahead, a quick pit stop. If you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel F1 Motor Fever Podcast, activate those notifications, drop a comment, and share these episodes with all your friends and family. Remember, your support is what fuels this show.
And let me tell you, some of the stories we've got lined up are too good to keep to yourself.
Exactly, William. Want more details on the subject? Stick with us. We've chosen today's topic because it's not just about Formula One racing, but about passion, resilience, and the human spirit. I think you'll find it not just entertaining, but inspiring too.
Couldn't have said it better, George.
So let's shift into gear, shall we? Full throttle. Let's dive straight in, shall we? Now, Maldonado has quite the unique story. He literally grew up surrounded by cars, with a family deep-rooted in the automotive industry in Venezuela. He was practically born in a car dealership.
Indeed, and from a very young age, Maldonado was zooming around, not on four wheels, but two, BMX bikes being his first ride.
That's quite the start, isn't it? From two wheels to four, Maldonado's journey to the go-kart track is interesting. A family friend's son was into go-karting, and they invited Maldonado to give it a go.
And that was it. He was smitten. His first time around the track, he was all smiles and brimming with happiness. It wasn't long before he convinced his father to buy him a go-kart.
That's the spark of passion right there. From the moment he sat in that go-kart, Maldonado was destined for the racetrack.
Absolutely, and that passion led him to one of the most coveted arenas in motorsport Formula One, where he certainly made his mark.
No doubt about that. His aggressive style and unwavering commitment gave fans plenty of memorable moments. From dented carbon fiber to that shock victory for Williams in 2012, Maldonado certainly left his mark on the sport.
Even after leaving Formula One, his passion for racing still burns bright. He's been racing in endurance championships and doing quite well, it seems. A true testament to his love for the sport.
That's the spirit of a true racer, isn't it? Once a racer, always a racer. Now here's something interesting. Maldonado's passion for racing wasn't just his own. Turns out his whole family were fanatics about the sport.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. When you have a family that supports you, that passion just grows stronger. They followed Formula One religiously, didn't they?
Oh, they did. To them, Ayrton Senna was a god of motorsport. Seeing that kind of dedication must have had a profound impact on a young Maldonado.
No doubt about it. And it's not just his father's influence, but his entire family, who even now remain incredibly passionate about racing.
It's like they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. On starting his racing journey at such a young age, Maldonado was up against older kids. That must have been quite the challenge.
Oh, it certainly was. He acknowledges that the difference in strength, maturity, and body development at that age is significant. And yet, that didn't deter him.
It did more than that. It made him stronger and forced him to grow up quickly, to keep pace with the big boys.
A testament to his resilience and determination. From there, he made the big move to Europe to pursue his dream in single-seaters and eventually Formula One.
That's right. From go-karts in Venezuela to a Formula One test with Minardi, Maldonado's journey has been nothing short of remarkable. Now, moving on to Maldonado's entry to the world of Formula One, he found himself transitioning from a Formula Renault 2-liter, and the difference, he says, was huge.
That's completely understandable. Stepping into a Minardi's cockpit is no small feat, and tackling budgetary constraints would have only added to the challenge.
That's true, but what's interesting here is his determination and resilience. Even though he was fast, he admits that he made mistakes and lacked experience, which is a reality many young drivers need to navigate, isn't it?
Absolutely. And not to mention the factors outside the track. Imagine leaving your home country, adapting to a different culture, weather, and lifestyle. It's a lot to take in.
It certainly is. Now here's where things get a bit gloomy. Maldonado had to spend months away from home while most European drivers returned home after the weekend races. The loneliness, the homesickness, it all adds up.
Yes, but he didn't let that stop him. Despite admitting it was tough, he took it as an opportunity to mature quickly and double down on his goals.
That's the spirit, but I worry about the mental toll this might take on young drivers. The constant pressure to perform, the distance from loved ones, and the drastic lifestyle changes. It's a challenge that doesn't often get the attention that it should.
I agree entirely. It's a side of the sport that the fans don't often see. But perhaps, conversations like this might help shine a light on it.
Maldonado's journey wasn't without its struggles. He was in a new country, with no friends, only his team for company. Languages to learn. It must have been a lonely period.
Indeed, but as we've already mentioned, Maldonado's determination to succeed was stronger than any hardship. His progress through the junior single-seater pyramid saw him triumph in the GP2 series in 2010.
That's quite an achievement. It was this win that got him on the radar of Formula One teams. Eventually, he signed with Williams in 2011.
He believed he was ready for Formula One even a couple of years before that. And stepping into Williams, although they weren't the #1 team at the time, was a dream for him.
It was a significant stepping stone in his career. On the flip side, there's always going to be a bit of controversy, isn't there?
Are you referring to the financial support from Venezuela's state-owned oil company PDVSA?
Exactly. Now, I'm all for drivers getting the support they need, but it did lead to some criticism. It's almost as if people forget that it's the talent that ultimately drives the car, not the sponsor's money.
Well said. Maldonado's journey to Formula One was far from easy, but his talent and determination ensured he left his mark on the sport.
So Maldonado had a bit of a tough time when he entered Formula One, didn't he?
Indeed. He faced a lot of criticism, some even branding him the bad boy of Formula One and the paid driver. The media seemed particularly critical.
It's always a challenge when you're the new kid on the block, but what happened next exposes just how cruel this sport can be. His entry into Williams coincided with one of their worst-ever seasons. That must have been gut-wrenching.
It was. The FW33, unfortunately, didn't quite live up to the expectations. Maldonado managed only a single top 10 finish that year.
And his more experienced teammate, Rubens Barrichello, didn't fare much better. He only scored twice that year. It's quite worrying, isn't it? A team as prestigious as Williams going through such a rough patch.
It definitely was a difficult period for the team, but it's important to remember that such ups and downs are part and parcel of the sport. Despite the adversities, Maldonado remained focused.
And that's commendable. But this just goes to show how quickly fortunes can change in Formula One. One minute you're living the dream, the next, it's turned into a nightmare. It's a harsh reality of the sport that we love so much, isn't it?
Very true. It's a constant reminder of how unpredictable and challenging the world of Formula One can be. But it's also these ups and downs that make the sport so captivating.
Just a quick sidebar, folks. If you're enjoying this episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast, don't forget to give that like button a solid smash and subscribe to our channel. Show us some love and share with your friends. It greatly helps us to keep delivering top-quality content for you, free of charge. We have fresh episodes every day at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., and on race weekends, we dial up the action with special broadcasts. And don't forget our epic Thursday morning specials. We delve deep into some fascinating topics.
Absolutely. Your support is invaluable. So, do hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's pivot back to our main topic, shall we?
The Spanish Grand Prix in 2012 was a game-changer for Maldonado. The team knew they had a good car, but they also had realistic expectations. They saw themselves as contenders for the points, but not necessarily race winners.
And yet Maldonado secured a brilliant second in qualifying, which astonishingly became pole position after Lewis Hamilton was disqualified due to a fuel irregularity.
Yes, that's right. Everyone expected Fernando Alonso, the other front-row starter, to quickly overtake Maldonado in the race. Everyone, that is, except for Maldonado himself.
He was quite determined. He told himself this was his chance, perhaps his only chance, and he needed to give it his all.
Exactly, and that's what he did. He managed to outrace Alonso and Kimi Räikkönen's Lotus to achieve a remarkable victory. Now that's what I call a silver lining. Even in the toughest of times, there's always a chance for something extraordinarily good to happen.
Absolutely. It's a classic case of determination paying off. Shows us why we should always keep our hopes up and never give up, doesn't it?
Maldonado himself admitted that it wasn't easy. Alonso and Räikkönen had quicker cars, but Maldonado and Williams spotted a weakness in their tire management, and they exploited it.
And that's what brought them the victory. It wasn't down to luck or unusual conditions like rain, it was pure performance. They were quick, and Maldonado took on the challenge of competing against Alonso.
He must have been over the moon when he stood on the podium, with his two idols, Alonso and Räikkönen, carrying him on their shoulders. I've got a nephew who's a huge Räikkönen fan. He'd be absolutely chuffed to hear about this.
No doubt. Maldonado felt that he had achieved his dream. He was following Alonso and Räikkönen when he was young, and that moment when he stood on the podium with them was when he acknowledged to himself that he had made it.
And more than that, he felt proud to have delivered the last victory for Williams' team, and for Frank Williams in particular. Quite the honor, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And although the Spanish Grand Prix was the high point, there were other moments when the Williams car found its sweet spot and Maldonado seized the opportunity. He qualified third in Valencia, second in Singapore, and third in Abu Dhabi.
It just goes to show that when you're presented with an opportunity, you've got to grab it with both hands. Despite the success, there were missed opportunities. Maldonado had a run-in with Hamilton in Valencia, the car failed in Singapore, and a curse issue hampered his run in Abu Dhabi.
Indeed, Maldonado's win in 2012 was the last for the Williams team, and the final victory under the stewardship of the legendary Sir Frank Williams.
It's a bittersweet memory, isn't it? On one hand, there were a few missed podium opportunities. Maldonado admits that one of those was due to his own mistake. He was still in the learning phase and perhaps a little eager to win another race and prove himself.
And on top of that, they didn't have a car that could consistently deliver performance. The team had to deal with numerous failures, especially with the KERS and gearbox, which dented their confidence.
Yet I think it's crucial to remember Maldonado's incredible determination. It goes to show how much potential there is to be untapped in these moments of adversity. As the saying goes, every cloud has a silver lining.
Absolutely. And despite the challenges, Maldonado stayed with Williams for 2013. Although the year ended up being a bit of a disappointment, the same as 2011, his determination and commitment to the team was undeniable.
True that. Adversities only make us stronger. It's all about never giving up and learning from our mistakes to come back stronger. Wouldn't you agree?
Couldn't have put it better myself. Maldonado's story is a testament to that.
It seems the issues were more profound than we initially thought. Maldonado admits that the team made some bad calls from a technical perspective. The aerodynamics weren't quite right, and the car's performance didn't match their expectations based on the wind tunnel simulations.
I heard a rumor that the team deliberately built a slower car in 2013 to lower expectations and then surprise everyone in 2014. Could that be true?
Hold on. Now that's a wild speculation. We have to be careful with such conjectures. Let's stick to the facts. It's important to verify any information from credible sources, like the official Formula One website or the Bandeirantes television channel, the official Formula One broadcaster in Brazil.
You're right, that was a bit reckless of me. I apologize. It's just that sometimes these conspiracies intrigue me. But I'll make sure to be more careful next time.
No worries, mate. It's always good to question things, but let's remember to cross-check our facts, especially when we're dealing with such a complex and technical sport like Formula One. Maldonado reckons that when things were spiraling downward, blame was being tossed around like a hot potato. The race team blamed the car, the factory blamed the race team, and so it went on.
He even referred to that period as possibly the worst in the history of the Williams team. They had too many issues and distractions off the track that hampered their performance on it.
In 2014, Maldonado's sponsors decided to move to Lotus, which had shown promise the previous year. Now, if memory serves me right, wasn't that the year Lotus adopted a novel, albeit flawed, twin-tusked design for their car?
That does sound familiar, but I'm not entirely sure. Shall we get our ace reporter Victoria on the line to confirm?
That's a brilliant idea. Let's give her a quick ring. Hello there, Victoria. We were just discussing the 2014 season and we can't seem to recall clearly. Lotus had a novel, twin-tusk design for their car that year, didn't they? Ah, I see. So it was indeed true. Thanks for the confirmation.
So we were right. Always good to double-check these things. History is such an essential part of understanding present events, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's our job to make sure we're getting it right. Here's a fun fact for our listeners. Did you know that the much-debated twin-tusk design adopted by Lotus in 2014 was an innovative yet controversial approach to the rules stating the nose of the car must taper to a point? The idea was to create two separate points, or tusks, with one subtly longer than the other to meet this requirement, while maximizing the airflow under the car. Clever, isn't it?
Absolutely fascinating. It's such innovations that keep this sport exciting. Always something new to learn, always something to keep us on our toes. Formula One, you've gotta love it.
Maldonado's struggles continued even after the switch to Lotus, didn't they? With problems plaguing the engine and the team facing monetary constraints, it seems they couldn't develop their aerodynamics package throughout the year. The situation got so dire that Maldonado refers to it as a bit dangerous at points.
That must have been a tough situation for him and the team. Just goes to show that success in Formula One relies on more than just the skill of the driver.
Absolutely. And it didn't stop there. Off the track, Lotus was dealing with its own crises. Maldonado recounts how they'd arrive at races without hotel bookings due to payment issues. At one point, they didn't even have hospitality in Japan. But here's a touching bit. Other teams saw their situation and offered to feed them. It just goes to show that while Formula One is fiercely competitive, there's a sense of camaraderie among the teams.
That's truly heartwarming. Amidst the rivalries and competition, it's good to know that there's still a sense of unity and sportsmanship.
And let's not forget Maldonado's role in all this. He found himself mediating between the head of the team and the mechanics, trying to ensure they got paid. It was a challenging year for him indeed, but his resilience and commitment truly shone through. The layers of complexity in Maldonado's narrative continue to unfold. Struggling to finish the season, they were even reaching out to sponsors for extra funds. The whole team was under a cloud of uncertainty and stress, including his teammate at the time, Romain Grosjean. Maldonado says he was literally counting down the days till the end of the season.
That's a grim picture. So much of a racer's performance depends on their mental state and morale. It's clear that the team's predicament was affecting everyone's focus.
Absolutely. But here's where the plot thickens. Lotus was eventually rescued by Renault in 2016. But guess what? The newly contracted Maldonado was released. Can you imagine the roller coaster of emotions he must have gone through?
Indeed, from the brink of collapse to a lifeline, only to be dropped. It's a harsh reminder of how unpredictable this sport can be.
And yet, Maldonado remained grounded. He says he had realized that, like all good things, his time in Formula One wouldn't last forever. He even had talks with Sauber for 2017, but the negotiations fell through as Maldonado felt he deserved a car that could consistently finish in the points, and his sponsors wanted a guarantee of results, which, as we know, is a tall order in this unpredictable sport.
A true testament to Maldonado's character, going through such tumultuous times, yet remaining dignified and realistic about the nature of the sport. Maldonado's story really underlines the fact that while racing is a thrill, it's not always all glamour and glory.
What are your thoughts on Maldonado's journey so far? It's been filled with highs and lows, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It underlines the reality of motorsport. It's not just about the adrenaline rush on the track, but also the financial resilience of it. Maldonado's story speaks to the trials and tribulations that come with the territory.
Indeed, it isn't all glamour and glory. But it's heartening to hear that Maldonado used this period to reflect on his life. He found gratitude in his amazing experience in Formula One, his family, his health, and his youth. And he came to accept his journey.
That's the mark of a true sportsman. Life is full of ups and downs, but it's how we navigate them that defines us. Maldonado's story is a testament to that.
Couldn't agree more. Post-Formula One, Maldonado took to the World Endurance Championship in 2018 and 2019. He enjoyed class victories at Daytona and Spa, and even snagged a podium at Le Mans.
It seems like Maldonado found his rhythm again in endurance racing. It's a different beast from Formula One, but the thrill of competition and the joy of victory are universal.
And while he may have stepped away from Formula One, it's clear he's still very much loved by the fans. They miss his character, his personality on the track. And who knows, we might even see a comeback. Now, wouldn't that be something?
Absolutely. Motorsport is unpredictable, just like its drivers. We can only wait and see what the future holds for Maldonado.
As Maldonado transitioned into the second step of his life, he delved into business, leveraging his family's holding and making investments around the globe. But you know what? It's evident that the call of motorsport still tugs at his heartstrings.
That's interesting. I've always thought about the transition from the fast-paced life of a professional racer to a more traditional career path. It must be quite a shift. I hadn't considered how much they might miss the sport.
Indeed, he confesses to missing his active life in motorsport every day. All the traveling, the public relations events, media engagements, sponsor events, training, testing, go-karting, and of course, racing. Even though he leads an active life now, nothing compares to the thrill and adrenaline rush of motorsport.
That's a good point. The love for the sport, the adrenaline, the fire of competition, it's not something that you can just switch off.
And maybe, just maybe, we might see Maldonado back in the world of motorsport, not as a driver, but in a different role. Imagine him managing a team, using all his experience and the network he's built over the years. It's clear that for Maldonado, motorsport isn't just a career, it's a passion and an integral part of his life.
That would certainly be something to watch. His wealth of experience would surely make him an asset to any team. It further underscores the idea that once you're in this sport, you never really leave, do you?
Maldonado's statement that motorsport will be his sport until the last day of his life truly encapsulates his deep-rooted love for the sport, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's not just a career for him. It's a lifestyle, a passion, something he's incredibly dedicated to. It's a sentiment that resonates with many in the motorsport world.
Indeed. And I think his story serves as a reminder that careers in motorsport can be unpredictable and challenging, but the passion for the sport can carry one through. It's a testament to the resilience, adaptability, and love for the sport that these drivers possess.
Absolutely. These stories really underscore the saying that once you're in motorsport, it's in your blood. It's a sport that leaves a lasting imprint on those who are part of it.
Well said. While we're nearing the end of our episode, there's still more to come. So listeners, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly for the closing segment of this special episode of F1 Motor Fever Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of F1 Motor Fever Podcast. We've had a riveting discussion about Pastor Maldonado's journey in the world of motorsport. If you've enjoyed this episode as much as we have, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Comments, shares, and likes go a long way in helping us bring you more exciting content. And if you've got any racing buddies, don't forget to recommend our podcast to them, whether it's over a pint at the pub or a discussion online.
Oh, absolutely. Spread the word and let's get more people in on these exciting insights into the world of Formula One. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we have lined up.
And a shout out to Enzo. I have a feeling you're going to love this episode. Thank you all for your continuous support. We're already revving up for the next episode.
Keep your engines running, folks. There's a lot more where this came from. Weston, pedal to the metal. Keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold. Catch you on the next lap, folks.